spaces that we need for a building. The furniture and equipment could also have been an Excel file saying, here's the furniture and equipment we need in a space, and it gets delivered like a delivery truck, brings it to the space. Then you move them around real quickly here just to get them into relative position, and you hand that model to the architectural team. So the owners at that point can check the original requirements against what the architectural team is doing, architectural engineering team is doing, and while we're doing the what-ifs, we can run a lot of different reports. So everything is interconnected. If we change the size of a space, it updates in the reports. If we change an assumption of it, it changes the color code. So it's kept very simple, and the graphics are tied to the data. And it's all real time. Again, the real time part of this is what drives a lot of this success for our projects. Also using other open standard formats is one called COBE from NASA and the Corps of Engineers, where you can take a multi-tab Excel spreadsheet that says here are spaces, here's equipment. We consume that, we import it into our system. It actually creates the spaces, places the equipment in the right room, and if there's sensor data, we can start attaching it to that equipment and start configuring the space, and then actually export it back out into COBE for import into other applications that would be using it for facility management. So again, the real-time energy and BIM connection is also shown here. Okay, so let's go into a little bit of live demonstration next, unless there are any questions before I jump into showing some live work here. Okay, yeah, go ahead. The question? It's all in the cloud. We have it on our server. Some of our clients actually install it on their server, so GSA actually has it behind their firewall, and Coast Guard has it behind their firewall.
So on the cloud, how do you export the
we have web services links. We have if it's behind the firewall, then obviously it's a different kind of a story. In some clients they allow that, other clients would not allow it. But whether it's behind the firewall and they have other data behind there, or if it's outside and they allow that, that's possible too. Yeah, we really are, this whole web services part, we think that that's really, there's a huge potential there, because you can start layering in a lot of different types of services. The services-oriented architecture is what really is going to drive that, because not any single application is going to be able to solve everything that's needed here. Okay, so let's look at some, let's close this animation here for a sec. Okay, so here's Google Earth, and this is live now. Maybe Susan, can you, oh, you're taping it, okay, that's fine. And I'm going to open up some real-time, let's see which one should we use. Temperature zones, real-time. Okay, let's see what's going on with that. So this is actually historical data. Yeah, this is historical data that was captured for this building, showing the temperature in a building. And this is the 3D model coming from our server. And the temperature data is coming from the VROC server, and if we click on things, it actually starts showing more detailed information about that space. So this is all within Google Earth, but the data is actually coming from another server. The sensor data is coming from the VROC server. This interface is coming from our server. The geometry is coming from our server. So if I were to, I can't edit the, and actually here's a webcam, even hooked in the webcam to that as well. In Google Earth, I could go in here and start deleting and editing stuff, but the source of this material is coming from from who owns that information. So if I were to change that, it would actually update here. So here's real-time energy use. Yeah. So these, if I click on a building, it actually says, well, here's the condition of that building, the whole building. And I might say, well, I really want to see what's going on inside these buildings. Why are they red or why are they green? In Google Earth, this building C, for example, I can say, okay, something's going on here, I want to see what's going on. I want to see the site plan in our system. So now it's going from Google Earth, launching the web browser, opening up our system in the web browser, and saying, here's the plan that you're looking at. And I've logged in with my names. And right now it's in view mode, so I can't grab and move buildings around, but I can look at data. But I've logged in with my name, so I have the right to edit. Obviously not everybody has a right to edit. And each user might not actually look at all the interface the way I'm kind of jumping around and showing you different types of uses, but some users might only be interested in give me a list of equipment, or give me the temperature of a room, or give me a site plan and see what it looks like, or color code the site plan like this to show me which buildings are having problems with energy use. That's what this color coding is here. Or maybe I just want to see the phasing if I'm interested in the construction schedule. So this data is dynamically generating the graphics. The graphics can be edited. I can actually go in here and say I want to change the shape. So this is a building. I might change the shape of this building, for example, or I might say I want to add another 5-story building. It's as simple as that. It's a very simple kind of a point and click, add another building, and move the building around. So there's a new building I added right there. And all of the reporting that would come out of here now on the web, it starts giving me a report of the square footage of all the buildings and how many floors they have and how much is on each floor. So that's kind of at a very top level. If I keep drilling down, now this could be for the planning of a new building, or it could be the management of an existing building. A lot of our clients are really struggling right now. BIM is really great. Building information modeling is very powerful, very great. But all the program managers that we work with, if you hand them a CD file with a Revit model or a CAD file, they don't know how to get to the data. There's a lot of effort put into putting these projects together. This makes it very simple. So for many of our clients and projects, we're actually taking the data and importing it back into the simplified format that makes it easy to drill down and get to the data in real time. Instead of saying, well, we need to go download this huge CAD file and go get that report and bring it all together, and is this the most current version? Real time allows you to see what's going on there right now. So if I pull up this space, this is the reporting that's happening of the current temperature of this particular floor. I'm only loading that floor. I'm not downloading the entire building. I'm only looking at the data that I need. In the same way that when you go to Expedia, you don't download the entire Delta schedule and then look for that flight that's going out tomorrow. You're drilling right to the piece of data that you need. So if I go to the reports here, let's assume this is a new building, and you could say, okay, how much is that going to cost? This is early cost estimating based on the things that I put in the building. So this is going to be a $59 million, $393,000 building. If I make this room a little bit bigger and save that, it actually updates that report on square footage, on cost. It's the early stages of design, but we're trying to do what we call create the train wreck. So you want to see all the potential issues that are happening early in the process rather than waiting a month later and say, oops, we missed something, or something was a wrong assumption, or the cost is too much. So these costs are getting updated as I'm changing them. So this is 53,993. Oops, I didn't save it yet. But yeah, there's an automatically saving, but I didn't save the option yet. So, and there's a lot of settings. I'm not going to go into the complexity of this, but there's a lot of things that can happen on top of that as well. I can click on a space and look again at the same data that I showed earlier in Google Earth with the air temperature of that room, for example. So that's coming again. This is streaming in from the VROC server through web services and saying you clicked on the space, and here's a sensor in that space, what temperature is currently happening in that space. If I click on a room and say, well, I really want to look at the furniture in there, I'm now going to drill down further and see the furniture and equipment in a space. And I can add more furniture and equipment, or I could say turn things red that there's some condition happening. So this is an air handling unit, for example, and again, the air handling unit would have a graphic and the temperature coming to it as well. It's really endless as far as what you want to connect and link, and this kind of concept of using web services and mashing data up like this, it really opens up completely what is possible. Using open standards allows you to link to your application, so it doesn't all have, it's impossible to imagine any kind of software that is going to solve everything for you. So using open standards allows you to connect the right application to be able to do this kind of work. And even at this stage, I can say, oh, I want to move this piece of furniture around. I have the right access to move data like this, and then if I want to look at it in 3D, we do a lot of work like this with GSA and the government, where we're going to meetings and we're actually resolving the discussion in the meeting. In the typical process, you go to a meeting, you meet with a client, the client says, well, I want to add another desk, or I want to add another piece of equipment, or I want to make this room bigger, or I want to add a floor to the building. Say, well, fine, we'll come back in 2 weeks with a new PDF plan and a report of what that really means. Putting it in front of them like that and saying, well, you asked us to add this, here's the square footage, here are the cost implications, here's how it fits on a site. You start a dialogue right there in the room. And that's how you can start making faster and more accurate business decisions. Because again, the Expedia, if I go back to Expedia, imagine if you went to Expedia and asked it for a cost for a ticket from here to New York and said, we'll be back to you in 2 weeks with a PDF. It just does not work. So with this complexity in the industry and connecting buildings live to energy data, I think this is really the only way. And our solution is not the only one. There's a lot of other types of links that can be connected to the internet, but we are very open about how we want to connect to other applications and servers out there. So this is a real-time 3D view of that room, of the furniture as it currently stands. And we got a lot, in our GSA projects, we got consensus a lot faster from clients as we worked on projects like this. So the other important concept is this building, I can create a list of give me all the spaces in this building.